What's happening, y'all? It is the September edition of the One-on-One with the Super series. I'm sorry for getting these around late, man. I've been beyond fucking swamped in the best way possible. We'll talk about it as things go on. But for those who are new here, we sit back and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. I love these conversations because what you'll see is everyone is unique, they're different, and so much. And I'm talking right now with I like talking to him because his perspective about movies, TV shows, wrestling, and everything is so great. And it's always always good to hear different opinions and perspectives and make you think about things and put other stuff in perspective. All that good shit. The homie Chris Lee. What up, sir? How you doing?
Dude, you're not kidding, though, about being crazy. Just trying to cover everything from movies and television. Just right now, it's just, especially the TV slate is insane.
Dude, I think it's ridiculous. TV, like, we're in a good time for television, right? We're in like a dope prime era of television, but it's just so much.
Yeah, because you got
so much.
I got Ring of Power right now. I have Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, then She-Hulk. Andor's about to start this week. Which again, I don't know why they have Andor and She-Hulk so close together.
Two different fan bases.
I know, but still, yeah, I would do.
For you as someone that covers it, I can understand why you would like them spread out. I can see that, but you got to remember there are some people who won't fuck with Marvel, who fuck with Star Wars, who don't fuck with Star Wars, who fuck with Marvel. So and they want to make sure this is one genius move. I will admit that Disney has done with Disney Plus. You're gonna stay on their streaming site.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna stay on their site, and I love the way they're doing it. Like no. You're going to make sure you stay because the streaming wars is real now. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, we're going to make sure you stay here with us.
Yeah. The only benefit to the binge model is if you can look back at a show and be like, okay, now I get where you were setting things up. Because when you go piece by piece, you don't necessarily see that. So, for example, Rings of Power moves real slow, but they're kind of setting things up. The only way, like, the last episode is going to work, like this previous episode is going to work, is if everything kind of lines up when you look back at the season as an arc. If not,
I'm not much of a Lord of the Rings fan, so I keep hearing it's beautifully done and everything.
Yeah, it is. It's beautifully done. The acting's really strong. The problem is they have too many storylines. It's like Game of Thrones season 1 in that way of like everyone's kind of all over the place. The thing that Game of Thrones season 1 had is that you at least knew that Daenerys was trying to get to King's Landing.
Right.
You know, you at least get that and you don't have that. There's too many distinct plots, and not all of them are circling together yet.
But this is where I would have to somewhat disagree with you. I just recently started, right before House of Dragon, I started rewatching Game of Thrones. And you're right. The first season has so many different plots, but as the show progresses, everything it started setting up, you know, you got payoffs on all of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm comparing it to. Season 1. Only season 1 of the 2 shows, because that's what we had to go off of at this point.
Okay.
So that's why I'm giving the Lord of the Rings show more slack, because you can't compare a fantasy show that's based on serialized stuff in 4 episodes.
Right.
Like, it's really tough to do. It's how you stick the landing that matters.
Yeah.
Same thing with House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon's going to have the same thing. If they can't stick the landings at the end of the seasons, it ain't going to matter how good these first 4 are.
Well, I think the advantage it has, because I think the thing is, the difference is the landing doesn't necessarily have to be, the landing just has to be, where do we go to get towards, because we know it's 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
And we know basically this is just Rhaenyra's story. That's pretty much it.
So and Allison, to a degree.
And what else?
Allison,
yeah, because I mean,
they waited too long. If you know the book, she has a much more bigger role as it kind of goes along.
Oh,
so yeah. If you read the book, the one
I've not. I'll be honest. I have not read the books, so I just know of of it being Rhaenyra getting to the point where her brother's gonna kill her.
Yeah,
you know, that's pretty much how everything goes. Her brother kills her, and then we have a Targaryen, more Targaryens until, like, because they've already been renewed for season 2, right?
Yeah.
So my wonder is, does it go further down the Targaryen family line past Rhaenyra? Do we literally like should the end? I feel like the landing for House of Dragon should be episode 1 of Game of Thrones.
You could be. I mean, it's basically the way I see it's going to build up to when the Targaryens basically get kicked out of King's Landing. For good.
Yes.
That's where it's going to be. And I think you may get like a little flash forward kind of thing. I would bet that they're willing to, if they're willing to change the actors playing the roles, I don't think they're going to have any problem changing the characters. Like just swapping out the characters. So did you know that like Laenor and Laena, they aged them up, but they're changing the actor again. So these new actors were only in for the 1 episode.
Yeah.
So they've had 3 actors play those.
But that's smart because that means they're trying to move it. That means they're trying to move a story quickly. Because I know when I watched the last episode, I was like, "Hold the fuck on! When did a baby get here?" I think everybody was like, "Whoa, a baby?" And she pregnant again?
Well,
what?
Yeah, exactly. And it was also the thing with like Daemon and Rhaenyra were almost too close together too quick. Because the last time they talked or we saw it on screen, like she was daring him to kill her. And like, I'm like, so how did we get here to now? It's just like, we're good. And the same thing with the wedding. That was the one thing. They're totally fine with Damon just walking in, sitting at the table. Like
my man just walked in, sat at the table, and dude was like, you want to talk about your wife being dead? He was like, yeah, matter of fact, I do. You know what? She dead. I'm her only heir. I'm gonna need you to run that to me. I was like, well, damn.
And Viserys clearly still believes that he sexually assaulted his daughter because he gave her the morning after pill. You know,
he don't think it was sexually assault. He think that they just consensually fucked.
Yeah, I know.
But Daemon is so cold. Daemon was like, I want you to believe it. Mm-hmm. I want you to believe it. It might not, more than like from what everything saw, it didn't happen.
He's a poser. He's a poser for whatever gives him a power.
Yep.
So if you call him out, then that's when he turns. That's why he killed his wife. When she's like, you can't finish. I'm like, well, you're dead.
You ever noticed in TV shows and movies, people who die like that, they had that moment where they could have lived, right? He was going to you were just going to be paralyzed for the rest of your life. You know, a fate, as many people say, worse than death. Mm-hmm. But you would have still been alive.
Yeah.
You were good until you said the words, I knew you couldn't finish. And he was like, oh, bitch, what? And I was like, oh.
I'm just glad they didn't show the crushing of the skull. That was good.
I'm surprised they didn't, to be quite honest with you, because
of the women violence stuff. You know, you had like in the first episode, the pregnancy and all that stuff. I think they knew they couldn't probably go back to that well too quickly.
Yeah, because it would be like, yo, you just like showing violence against women, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And I do understand, like, you know, people don't want to see that and be visually, you know, things about that. But we had to watch Kristen Cole beat Joffrey's. First of all, if your name's Joffrey, you're not gonna make it. Beat his whole face in.
That dude, oh my God. So again, it helps you read the book, because I was like, how are they going to get to where he is not a good dude or noble at all. He is a complete snake.
Really?
Yeah. In the book, you see, he's basically a thug is what he is, but because he fights well, he gets into the thing. Yeah. So it's really where he goes. Yeah. But they are changing some things from the book, so it could be. I don't think the way Viserys is going to die is going to be the way it was in the book. That'd be a weird.
How did he die in the book, if I can ask?
He's poisoned. It's not confirmed. It's kind of like Cersei Lannister, kind of like, did she kill the king, the king and stuff, like early on before we knew for sure that it was.
Okay, it's implied that he was. Okay.
It's implied that it's Alicent. Which I don't see them going that way with Alicent, because it kind of seems like you need at least 2 people to root for.
Well, from what they were saying, remember with the herb wearing green, that means she had war, and she basically like, oh, y'all ain't shit. When Christian Cole comes in here and just start dry snitching on himself, everybody's like, ain't nobody ask you, bro.
No, all you had to do was just all you just had to do was say nothing wrong. Just back up Rhaenyra's story. That's all you needed to do.
Back up her story. say, yo, she didn't do nothing with her uncle. That was all you needed to say, fam. Everything was good. You just need to say she didn't do nothing with her uncle.
And it was
Now,
confusing too, because they could have gone. Why didn't Allison go directly to Rhaenyra like she did in the previous episode? Like he went right to Rhaenyra with that. Why
well,
didn't
because she kind of knew, I think Allison knows how close, because he's her personal guard. Who
Yeah,
else is closer? But who else is closer with Rhaenyra besides,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Besides Allison is, her guard, Christian Cole. But my man was out here just like, yeah, so look, I fucked and like, yo, I'm sorry. Like, please just don't stomp, don't cut my dick off, just kill. Bro, did nobody ask you all that?
What's funny is that scene, it feels so weird for that character, but that was the first time I'm like, oh yeah, that's the character in the book. That's the character in the book. The guy that immediately will do that when he can't get the thing that he kind of wants right away.
Because I mean, Rhaenyra was like, look, I'm about to get married, bro. This ain't even real shit. We can still get down on the side. I loved it too. I was like, she asked to be a sneaky link.
You asked me to be your whore.
And he was like, you asking me to be your whore? And she basically was like, fam, what's the problem here? Like, you're like, I want to take you away from all this. Bro, I'm noble. Okay, look, you getting what you get.
He will get killed if they find out, because they're supposed to take a vow of chastity. They're not supposed to have sex at that time. I don't know why. It's a weird thing. It clearly doesn't stay that way.
Because it was always proven to be, and I've read about this before. It was proven that having sex clouds your judgment.
Yeah.
But in life, I think every man and woman knows that when you have a good orgasm, your head is clear.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the world. Like, you'd be like, okay, I understand these decisions better now. And so that was the thing with that.
But I'm enjoying She-Hulk. I'm not loving it as much as other people, but I like it.
I like it because I know it's the John Byrne run to a T.
Yeah, my issue is like the comedy's not hitting with me as much as I want it to. I'm fine with not as much Marvel stuff, but like the last episode didn't do it at all for me. Any of the courtroom scenes. I love the side adventure with Pug going Drip King, whatever that dude is.
Oh my god,
that was amazing. That was the highlight. I'm interested to see where they're going Daredevil. I'm totally fine if has humor and makes jokes. That's cool.
How much you want to bet he ain't in it long? I'm guaranteeing he's not in it long.
I don't think he's in it long. I also don't think it's this next episode. I think it's the episode after. I think they're setting it up, and there will be something.
I wouldn't be surprised. The way the show is, it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't the exact next episode.
My big issue is too, like I love Renee Elise Goldsberry. I wish I'd seen more of her. I think you needed to set up that dynamic a little more. Like these two don't like each other, and then you give her the case. That way, you establish like kind of a slow burn. I know in the comics they completely despise each other, but
also it does for me. This is for me. It does the old 90s sitcom trope, the way they do it, where you have that enemy in the workplace. You reluctantly work together because it's going to make you look good in the end, but we still not cool. That's a 90s sitcom trope. Now, I get for a lot of people that it doesn't fall on there because they don't remember that era per se.
Yeah.
And they haven't watched that
sitcom trope. I just wish I had more of it going into the episode so that when they take on a case, they're both like uneasy at how this is going to work. That way, when she starts bringing the X's, you're like, oh, is she trying to just mess with Jen here? Like, what is with the X in the lobby and all that kind of stuff? You're kind of questioning it a bit more. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but the way he popped up in the lobby it wasn't like she was bringing him. It was like he was just popping up like, yo, he's a client. And I get what you're saying. It's just there's so much. Again, I think, and I've said this before numerous times, more than anything, if nothing else, I love the risk Marvel Studios is taking.
I agree. If anything, when they did the episode 4, and I would not had any action in it. I would find another way other than her having to be Hulk and smash the goblins kind of thing to get around that stuff. Like I want less action and more of diving into the comedy. Like, really just make it straight up comedy.
Well, that's what this episode was. But I think what you're asking for is what this one was.
Yeah, it just didn't. The jokes didn't hit, but I like the attempt with it. The jokes just didn't hit in the courtroom stuff. But I like that better than I like the fourth. You know.
No, I understand. But I think that's the thing. A lot of people, too, from what I'm reading and hearing and stuff like that, is some people are mad that there's not enough action. I'm like, y'all never were promised action with this.
And you don't want it with the CGI the way that too much motion with it doesn't work. And when they did the action scene, they're so beneath her strength or whatever. Like she doesn't even, it's not even a bother. So there's no stress with it. There's no tension with it.
Right.
So give me comedy with it. Give me jokes. Give me the lawyer's way of getting out of that versus she saves him. And then it's just like, yeah, I'll sign the thing.
Let me ask, as far as sitcoms go, I don't know how many sitcoms you've watched or you do watch. I'm not sure. If you do, what would you say are some of your favorites?
As far as single cam?
Single cam. Yeah. Let's not do multi-camera. You know, we're filming in front of a live studio audience. Let's do regular single cam.
Honestly, like to me, Spin City was like my favorite.
Okay.
Kind of in that 90s round where there was still had some drama in it, so it wasn't so superfluous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Seinfeld too, but Seinfeld doesn't have any continuous storylines at all. It's
the show about nothing.
The show about nothing. Which is great. You know, the jokes are fantastic in that. So those are kind of the two. Cheers. I love Cheers, but I haven't seen all of Cheers, so I can't.
Okay. So I just wonder, because now I have an understanding of what type of sitcoms you like in regard to this.
But I mostly do prefer multicam to
Really?
I mostly prefer like Parks and Rec and stuff like that. Scrubs, I love that kind of stuff.
Okay, that type of multicam type of deal. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So when I hear multicam,
that throws me off because there are times where I'll go and look at a joke and be like, "That's funny," but then there's no laugh there, or the laugh is constant. I'm like, "That's not a good joke." Like versus, you know.
Oh, some 90s sitcoms were. Oh my God, they were infamous.
I mean,
for laugh track.
Go watch Boy Meets World. The stuff that's actually good jokes versus not.
Ooh, buddy, I remember seeing so many of those.
Oof.
I'd be like, God damn.
But
but that's also the thing too, is I forget sometimes, even when it comes to like just regular sitcoms,
mm-hmm.
the thought of the joke and the punchline is literally not even what makes the writers laugh, what makes an exec laugh.
That's the issue there. There's that disconnect. That's why like that 70s show was great, because they actually had the live audience in there when they were filming. So you had real, and they also allowed the actors to laugh at jokes as you would with a group of friends. So you kind of bought that relationship. So they'd be in the basement, they'd literally laugh at a joke. How I Met Your Mother did that too.
That's what I love about Martin. Martin did that because Martin had times where you would watch, because it was filmed in front of a live audience, but it was so dope because you would see them break and you would watch them have to turn and not laugh. And it's like, that's when you know you got authenticity. But also that goes to the credit of that cast as well.
Exactly.
Man.
What's interesting, I always wondered why they didn't go with the laugh track row was the Bernie Mac show. I love the Bernie Mac show, but because of his stand-up and everything like that, like that was such a big thing, was to give the stand-up comedian a show with a laugh track with it. Or
because his show wasn't so much about him as the comic, it was him as the family man.
Yeah, which I thought was smart. I'm not denouncing that at all. I love that.
Yeah,
it's just an interesting thing at the time.
No, I agree. It was a very interesting choice. Like I say, it was about him as the family man, whereas Martin was about Martin. Like, yes, Martin's character was a radio personality, but it was about the guy. It was about the person who Martin Lawrence is. Okay, who Martin Payne becomes. Where the Steve Harvey show was about Steve Hightower. You know, even though he used to play in a band, but he was still Steve Harvey. The Hughleys was a family. Now, the Hughleys is different because the Hughleys was a family comedy, but it allowed D.L. Hughley to be D.L. Hughley to an extent.
Yeah.
So it's always, sitcoms are they're wild. They're wild.
Yeah. You want to jump into wrestling?
I was just about to ask you, man. So we
crap.
So we're getting this War Games, right? Which I'm
Yeah.
glad. Now, they just said it is not going to be Raw versus SmackDown War Games.
Which was the thing that I was so happy about with that piece, because that's what Triple H said. It's going to be storyline related, which if he's going to say it's storyline related, that means he has a story, at least in his head.
So now the question becomes, who goes in the War Games? Because it's only going to be 2 matches, right?
Yeah.
So do you do Hit Row and the Profits versus somebody, or do you just find 8 random people that just all of a sudden now you start building a storyline out?
No, it's the bloodline. It's the bloodline. You now have the Usos, you have Roman, and you have Sikoa.
Solo. Yeah.
You could build that up, and you have Sami. You can mess if you're doing KO eventually.
Yeah, you can have the 4 of them rep the bloodline, have Roman have his own match.
You could do that, or Roman can be in the match, and you can put the 2 titles on the line, and say if someone pins Roman, one of them can get one of the titles. That could be your way out of that, and you put Drew McIntyre in the match.
So now you put the past 4 people Roman have beat then.
Yeah, essentially. No, and you'd have KO in there. I'd have KO in there with Sami turning on the bloodline as like the catalyst in the match, and reteaming with KO.
Okay.
I think that'd be fun. And then that sets I wouldn't have KO win it. I would set them up to be the tag team that eventually beats the Usos. Like, that's what I would do. I think that would be
I think that would be that'd be a deserving and dope run. And it's also, if you put KO and Sami together as a tag team and let them win the titles, it is a perfect, they have arguably the best story to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They have, to me personally, and some people watch this may not agree, their story is more authentic than Ray and Dominic's winning the title.
Oh yeah, no, it's yeah.
Because some people are like, well, it's father son. No. You got the 2 best friends that have come up together in this industry. They've been beating the hell out of each other. They've been bitter rivals, best friends. The one thing they have never done is go for tag team gold together.
Right. And the reason I say that, you're going to want, it can't be just a War Games with underlings, because he said that they were both going to be the main events. So if they're main events, you can't do like Judgment Day. Like, that's another one you could find 4 or 5 members, but no one's going to really. Doesn't have.
So it's KO, Drew McIntyre, Matt Riddle.
Yeah, Matt Riddle, and maybe Orton if he's back.
And Randy Orton. That's it.
He's back. Who knows if his back will be up, but that's 2 months from now. That's why I'm excited that they're dropping this now. That means Paul Levesque knows enough at this point to go, okay, 2 months out, I can start. I know what storylines to kind of build to, which is nice because Vince never knew what we're doing.
Well, the problem is, you said a line that you just said a line that a lot of people said Vince never did. Vince used to do it.
Yes, I'm talking about the last 10 years.
Yeah, Vince used to do storylines that were like, the payoff of some shit was amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And now, we understand, the man got older. He was really out of touch. That is the one thing that Triple H has been like, I'm keeping my finger to the pulse. I'm listening to the streets, but I'm also telling y'all, trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Yep.
And he has been proving that every week.
The women's one's easy as possible is Damage Control.
Is Damage Control. But who's the 4th? Who's the 4th?
I'm not sure.
Who's the 4th for Damage Control?
Yeah, that's what I don't know yet.
Because they just flipped. Because I would just say random names. They just flipped Shotzi back face. So
yeah. And Shotzi wouldn't really fit.
She wouldn't fit no way. But
not a good enough worker, anyways.
And Aaliyah, Raquel really doesn't work because it would really be shoehorning her in.
No, because I think if Sasha and Naomi are coming back, that's what you're saving them for. So I think they'd be in that match. I mean, you could put Bianca Belair in there if.
Bianca's on the other side, though, no matter what.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to think.
Unless this is what I think how he may build this up. If Triple H might do it, he might not. Remember how we were getting champ versus champs?
Mm-hmm.
We might still get champ versus champs. But at the same time, with the exception of Roman, but we'll still get the War Games matches too, and it'll be like an all super fucking card because your Survivor Series is a premium event.
Who the heck's the SmackDown? I mean, at some point, Charlotte's got to come back, right? Like, what's Charlotte doing?
I think they're letting Liv get a run because the moment Charlotte comes back, you know what happens. Let's just be honest. I think they're allowing Liv to have a run, whether it be 6 months or a year, fine. Because the moment Charlotte comes back, we automatically know Charlotte doesn't, for some reason, she cannot be in a mid-level program.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work with her. It is something about that character that literally always says, which is not a bad thing, but it also gets tiring because it's just like she has to be in the main event for that women's title. So Charlotte comes back, it's an instant, that's who it is.
Charlotte could be in that grouping as a fourth.
For Damage Control?
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Because I think it's clear on the other side, you have Becky Lynch in there too.
So the other side is Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, fuck it.
Maybe, but if Sasha and Naomi are back, that's where I plug them in. Because they have beef with Bayley already from long ago. Sasha and her were feuding.
I was wondering if they was going to save them to get the titles back. I mean, they're getting them back.
You can do that at any time. I mean, the tag championships don't mean much right now.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's the thing. I honestly believe Triple H knows we feel that way with the women's tag team titles, right?
Yeah.
They don't mean nothing. He knows it. That's why he brought them back. He was like, I know y'all don't care about them until this team has them. And when this team has them, I'm going to put a spotlight on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, do you have them come back? My only fear, I'll say, with having them at War Games is the risk of getting injured right away.
Yeah, but that's always going to be a risk with Sasha in any match.
This is you can do her in a pillow and lingerie match, and that's
and CM Punk, man. Can't
do that dude. That dude is literally the destruction of a whole wrestling company, and it's beautiful to see.
Uh-huh. And not only that,
Tony Khan is so fucking dumb.
You can't fire him. You can't fire him with that injury because he'll go and sue you.
He'll do it.
He did it to WWE.
You know he'll do it. Tony Khan
deserves some lawsuits. WWE's done a bunch of crappy shit, but the stuff like him having back injuries from taking bumps for years in other companies, and then that got applied to WWE is like, dude, that dude will sue you if you cut him with a torn triceps. Because I guarantee you, Tony Khan had a conversation with like, can you come back? Can you make it to All Out? Can you do that? And that's all a judge would need to hear.
Tony Khan put himself into a corner. You kept, number one, you kept banking on that this guy was going to be the dude that was going to change your business. The thing was, and I've said it to everybody, and I think I might have said it here to you. Yes, it was dope, the return, because he was the only person to get him back in the ring in 7 years, right? The first match, I still say to no matter what, I don't give a fuck if it was Scott, he shouldn't have won. He should not. There was no reason to. Darby Allin should have won that. I stand by that. Now, you let that man do what CM Punk does and throw everybody under a bus, and not just everybody, threw your EVPs under a bus.
Yep. And Tony Khan didn't say anything.
Said nothing. Said nothing. But you know who
he agrees with Punk then. That's what that says.
That's exactly what it looks. But you know what this even who this even looks even better for though? Cody Rhodes, because it lets you know if Cody was willing to drop that position and leave, he helped to make that company and leave and go back to Vince. He knew it was some bullshit coming. He knew it was bullshit there. And clearly we seeing it. But
the biggest mistake was you could have one of those guys as your EVPs. Oh, either the Young Bucks by themselves or Kenny Omega. But you can't have all of them in there. The guys that should be are like Jericho and Bryan Danielson, who have been in WWE and know what it's like to be an organized wrestling promotion. Because what happened when everything hit the fan, Who was it that said the speech? It was Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho, and Jon Moxley, the three guys that have been in WWE.
Moxley was supposed to take off.
Like Vince McMahon.
Moxley was supposed to take off for months. He was supposed to be chilling.
And he comes back, he gives a speech about what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. You know? Versus Kenny Omega's speech was like, oh, 80% of you guys wouldn't even be in this locker room right now. Now, he said it as a joke. But
the problem is with that joke is that now you sat there, you've already, look, everybody knew. Everybody, there was no secret. Everybody I knew people for like the first year and a half. It was a giant summer camp fuckfest in AEW. I know that for a fact. I was hearing about
never there. Like, he's there booking the matches, but he's not really around. He's working out the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The football team, yep.
WWE, until he did the XFL stuff, which everyone knows when that happened in 2001, that place went to hell.
Yes, it did.
So WWE invasion. And
so there was the first 2 years, it was at summer camp, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you had who's running the company? The guys running the company are the guys that are only known for running an indie show.
Yep.
Not a major professional wrestling company. They haven't been in that environment.
Right.
And so, because also this is a thing about egos, how you have to check them. You know, the Bucks and Omega have an ego of I'm Kenny Omega, I'm the best in the world, blah, blah, blah. How much do you have to think you're the best in the world? I'm gonna still run this company and wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, not only am I gonna run this company and wrestle, I'm gonna show you how good I am. Give me every belt.
Yep.
Okay, then here come the Young Bucks. We the best tag team in the world. We're gonna show you because we're gonna put ourselves over every fucking chance we get.
Except they didn't at first. They should have at first and then dropped the titles to somebody. Because remember, Young Bucks for a while didn't have the titles. They were kind of doing the Cody Rhodes thing, but
because it was obvious. But the problem was it was obvious because we all knew what was coming.
You're facing tag teams that aren't at your level, so it seems weird when you have. I can't remember who the first tag teams were. They were terrible.
Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, they're not bad wrestlers, but they're not the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are a much better tag team.
Well, so it's like are a tag team, a solid tag team. Frankie SCU is not a solid unit as a tag team you've seen for years.
Right. Versus the Young Bucks should have had it, and then your first singles champion should be Chris Jericho, which they got right on that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to put someone young over, which Jericho did, and the Young Bucks didn't do that.
The problem with Adam Page, with him getting the belt, was nobody cared. And I kept telling everybody that. People were like, what do you mean? Wrestling, this is the thing, and I'll say this to the death of me and whoever's watching this. Wrestling marks are the only ones who cared about Adam Page. Because again, AEW is an indie company on TV.
Right.
So only indie fans got that. The purpose, that is one thing for all the bullshit WWE does, and I will say this, they have done a great job for the most part, especially the NXT brand, of building up talent to get you to know who they are.
Yeah.
They learned that they can't keep just throwing people on TV and expect you to know them, love them, and everything. If we got an indie darling, we're gonna put him on it. We're gonna put him on this level of brand. We're gonna get the WWE universe, our audience, to get used to them and get that name buzzing. So when they come to our bigger shows, now people know who they are. They didn't do that with AEW. They was like, "This is Hangman Adam Page."
Yep.
Why do you think Jim Ross ain't even on commentary no more? Jim Ross can't even sell these matches as much as he wants to.
Well, it's also weird because they have him in for an hour. They bring him in for the last hour. I'm like, why even?
Because that's supposed to be the best hour TV for them.
Yeah.
But CM Punk.
Excalibur is terrible.
He is brutal. He is abysmal.
Yeah.
He is abysmal. But again, this that indie wrestling shit that they keep thinking, oh, Excalibur is a great commentary. No, he's not. I honestly would rather listen to Tony Schiavone, Taz, and JR. Even though I know he cannot stand them. He hates those matches. You can tell it in his voice.
So yeah, there were certain matches that he does, like when they do basically Jericho matches. He does good with the Jericho matches because Jericho tells stories in his matches.
Yeah, Vince
And Moxley does too, but then they become bloodbaths, and
then they become a bloodbath, and he's like every fucking week, and it's like it's unnecessary. Jim Ross likes storytelling because, again, I keep telling everybody, it's no matter what. Yes, the wrestling business evolves. Yes, the athleticism has gone up a notch with a lot of these high flyers, et cetera, et cetera. But the general thing of professional wrestling has always been storytelling.
Yep.
It has always been storytelling. And the thing of, can the one guy or girl make a comeback and triumph against this adversary? And can they go within the odds? But you got a motherfucker taking a Canadian destroyer off a ladder and popping back up and doing 90 spots. And you're like, I don't want to.
Well, so good case of this is like, so Rey Mysterio is the best high flyer all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. His most important feud had nothing really to do with the in-ring. It was Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio over an adoption. Yes, it was the story of that match. I can't remember a spot from that match other than Eddie getting kicked in the balls by Vicky Guerrero. Right?
That was it.
But that story is what matters the most. And that in those kind of things. So the really good workers know how to bring out that story. I think they're given too much leeway. And they have too many agents that aren't really doing anything. I don't know what those agents are doing.
They're just back there. The thing is, somebody told them Vince has agents and producers, right? And so somebody was like, yo, you need agents and producers for these matches, which is cool. But the problem becomes you have agents and producers back in the WWE who are really helping put the matches together and are watching what's going on, are giving solid input. I can't look. Jade Cargill is amazing as a look, should not be champion. They keep trying to Goldberg her, but she keep getting exposed in the ring. It never fails.
No. And her matches are too long to do a Goldberg thing. They're slightly too long.
Yep.
You know, the thing with Goldberg, it was a minute and a half and he was out. Of course, William Regal exposed him, which was interesting. That William Regal Goldberg match is something.
Because it was like you want to make him, you want me to make this guy look like $1 million. I'm gonna show you I can't make him look like $1.
No, I can't. Do you think Goldberg does anything at Saudi Arabia?
Yes, if the prince wants him.
It seems like he does. Which I have no problem with the Logan Paul thing. None.
It's first of all, look, we get people like, why is Logan Paul? Logan Paul is money.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't had 2 matches.
Look,
or any matches. You know, it's not like you're putting Bad Bunny in there with Roman. You know,
also, I'm gonna say this. I didn't think Logan Paul was gonna do shit. I didn't. I will openly admit that shit. I thought Logan Paul was gonna be fucking terrible. And then I watched that man at WrestleMania, and I was like, foot in mouth.
He's great.
And then I had to like, okay, maybe this was a one-shot deal. And then SummerSlam came around, and I was like, okay, that man is worth. They know the position to put him in.
Yep. Well, kind of. He still needs to embrace being a heel because he's not really grasping that.
He don't want to. That's the problem. He don't want.
But the crowd is.
And here's the thing: with this feud with Roman, he ain't gonna have no choice.
He be a heel, yeah.
But also, company. How is this going? Well, I know more than likely the Usos can't go because of Jimmy's DUI.
Yeah.
So
Sammy's not gonna be there,
and Sammy won't go.
He doesn't go. Yeah.
He doesn't go at all. So Solo will go.
Jake Paul's going to be there. He said something about, looks like I need to go check this out, which is, I'm going to be there.
Okay.
He said that on social. Looks like I need to go check out this wrestling thing.
Okay. So it's going to be Roman, Paul Heyman, and Solo, Jake and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we automatically know that no matter what, Logan Paul is not going over for these titles. Not yet.
No.
And he's damn sure not going over on Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Right? But the money drop, everybody's like, I don't want to see that. Yeah, I tweeted that. I said, y'all do realize it ain't up to you. It's up to the motherfucker who drops $10 million a show.
It's on the Prince. Yeah. The Prince wants the celebrities and stuff like that. Like, this is the same. They brought Tyson Fury over like 2 years ago or whatever. The last time they went to Saudi for that reason.
The Crown Jewel shows are WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So
I was like, I don't know why people are sitting there not getting that.
Yeah. So it is very interesting. I look forward to the match. I think it's going to be worthwhile. And clearly, Roman likes the guy. Roman doesn't do a lot of podcasts, and he went on his podcast. Clearly he was like, I think I can do something with this dude.
The post press conference interview he gave when he was like, all he does is vlog, just hold a camera all day. Hey, I can talk all day. And then I was like, oh, Roman, stop. I was like, oh, shit.
Roman's just so good now. It's just, I can't wait for the Rock stuff. Like the promos and all
Answer
that.
Answer this question for me. Yeah. And because I have my thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
Does Roman need the title to go against The Rock now?
No.
I agree.
No.
I agree.
The reason being is, again, no matter what, Roman should go over in that match. The Rock should not be beating Roman Reigns, no matter what. But it would make it more in jeopardy. If he doesn't have the title, versus if Roman has the title and it's for the title, The Rock's not going to be the champion. Like, he's not going to carry the belt around.
This motherfucker ain't got no time his schedule ain't got no time to carry no belt around.
So I don't think you need it. But I think the big thing is, though, if they split the titles, then I don't see how you don't have Roman as one of those champions. Like, because you're going to want somebody to headline if they're going to split it somewhere. Like the way I would do it if I'm trying to make the most money is Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes is one of the championship
matches. The WWE Championship.
Yeah. No, for the I would split the titles from Roman.
That's what I'm saying. If you split, I'm saying I'm going to split. It's for the WWE title, and the Universal is somewhere. Is Drew McIntyre holds the Universal somewhere?
Yeah. Or
unless you keep the Universal on Roman,
that could be equal to that quality. And nothing's. So I do think it would be Roman and Dwayne one of the nights, and then it's that other title on the other nights. So I think if you're going to make him the only champion, then someone has to beat him for it. If they're splitting it, though, then I think Roman has to be one of the two champions, either for SmackDown or Raw. Obviously, he'll stay on SmackDown because they want.
I don't know. I feel like the reason I say this, and you just brought up a bunch of great points.
Yeah.
Number one, this is WrestleMania. This is a big thing. This is The Rock. We know The Rock. We know his schedule. We know Dwayne Johnson's schedule will not coincide with what The Rock needs to be, right? We know that. So the title gives you that, we know exactly what's going to happen in this match.
Yeah.
Right? The title involved in that situation is like, we know it's Roman Reigns regardless. The potential, even though technically speaking, Roman needs that win more than The Rock does.
Mm-hmm.
The potential of a Roman versus Rock with no title to see if he put his cousin over for the first, because what's to say he don't put him over at Mania, he put him over at SummerSlam.
I agree. The only reason is because the big thing Paul Levesque has done right away is make the titles matter again. So it would be odd for a main event of a 2-night WrestleMania for them not to both be for championships. Unless you raise U.S. Intercontinental Championships to that level.
But that's what I was about to say. The U.S. title can automatically be raised to that level.
Yeah.
But here's the thing too. But the grandeur of what the Rock versus Roman Reigns is in itself, I understand what you're saying. I get it completely. But the grandeur and the spectacle of that off of what Roman has built in these past 2-3 years in itself holds weight like a title fight without a title.
Yeah.
Because we've had prize fights that are just about pride. Remember, Austin and Rock matches, have always been, the majority have been one-on-one. Like, the first two were for the title. The last one was just Rock and Austin. Right. And how much did it hold up?
Yeah.
Now, granted, it had that history coming into it, but we automatically know what this is building up to. We're watching The Rock build an empire on purpose. He's always done that, but we're watching him build an empire. I'm taking care of everything. I bought a house for my cousin, right?
Or a random dude. A random dude on the street, he'll buy a truck for.
To buy a truck for. But we're listening to Roman. I take care of my whole family with this. If I don't do this, the family don't eat.
Yeah.
The Rock is showing you, don't worry, because if you fall off, I got it. And then some. So it's one of those where it's, yes, the belt is a thing, but also here's another thing. Before I even forget, the Fiend may be the one take these belts off of him, because that's the person he has not beat.
Do that. The match I really want to see so bad is Brock Lesnar and Gunther. I just want to see it.
Nope, because I don't think Brock ain't getting hit that hard. Brock ain't getting hit.
I want to see it.
I wonder how much convincing would Triple H have to do to say, look, I know you did the UFC. I know you like to beat people's face in. Want to wrestle Gunther? And Brock to be like, fuck no. Because don't get me wrong, they would have
Drew would be one to get to pretty soon here.
Huh?
Gunther and Drew would be one to get to really soon.
The problem getting to it is you accidentally elevated Imperium to face level.
I don't think they care about that though. That, like Triple H just talked about that. They're going to go where the crowd kind of goes, and if you're getting a reaction, that's how he's going to.
Okay, well that's fair.
The Vince thing of, oh, you're a heel, Becky Lynch. No matter what the fans are chanting, you're a heel. You know, Seth singing along to his theme song now and going along to the chant when before he would like not do anything with it, which was so stupid. Like, they're singing your theme, dude.
Look, I would like to see Drew. I don't know if Drew and Gunther is a great match. If you're not going to hurry up and give Drew the WWE title, go for the Intercontinental. That's perfect. Mm-hmm. I just don't know, and I'm be honest, I don't know if we're going to get a classic, and I use that word loosely because I don't use that word often, the classic that Sheamus and Gunther gave us. I don't think we will. Also, it would not surprise me if in the next 2-3 months, that man go back to being just Walter.
Maybe. He's actually said he likes the name.
I heard he say, I saw the interview with Ryan. He was like, I like it.
Okay. Then again, Theory said he liked just being Theory, and they give him Austin back because it's like, well, you don't have just one name. That's stupid. Because
Triple H just doesn't believe in that.
No, it's like, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Like, I want to see if I need to tweet this out next. Did anybody find out if Big E got Langston back yet? Did he find out?
That was funny because I was like, man, if they needed a new commentator to replace, what's
Pat McAfee?
Yeah, I'd be like, man, bring in Big E. Just that would be fun to see. But
because I know Corey Graves didn't want to do it at first. He really didn't.
It's more on your schedule. He has to do Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views. It's a lot.
He like, I was good. Like, I'll take the paycheck. Because it's only for the college season. So it's only like 4 months.
Yeah.
He like, I'll take the check, but damn, I do not really want to do this. So
because Pat McAfee was even like trying to do both. And Paul Levesque was like, so you're going to go and do SmackDown on a Friday and then fly out and do game day at Saturday morning and get to prep at like 6 a.m. No.
That's how much he cared about. Look, that shows you he cares. He was like, bro, I'm not going to put you through that type of schedule.
No. It's like, get for the college football season and then come back.
Because it's smart too, because guess what happens? Those college football fans is going to watch him. Now they're going to want to see him again back on Fridays. But listen, I got to get ready to wrap it up, unfortunately, because I got to get ready. I got 2 shows tonight. One, like, I'm just, dude, my schedule has been so fucking real.
Congratulations on being Lex Luthor, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yes, there's really a fiendish plan afoot that no one knows of yet.
All right.
Thank you so much, brother. Tell people how they can find you and everything you got going on.
Yeah, you can follow me, Chris_Intersect on Instagram, Twitter, and all that. I'm the managing editor of the intersectionmedia.com, where I cover movies, TV, all that good stuff.
Covers a lot of stuff, and there's a lot on TV right now and movies. Did you see Pearl yet?
No, I went and saw The Woman King instead.
Yeah, you told me about that. I got to go see that, but I got to see, because I saw X, and X was so damn good. I was like, I have to go see Pearl.
Yeah.
But y'all already know where to find me: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Mr. J Washington, all that good shit. All right. I will holler at y'all for the next one. Take care. I'm out.